Okay, welcome to the proof for 8.25. Um, this one is called Constructive Dilemma. I'm sorry, 8.24, Constructive Dilemma. And I have it written out here, and this is guidance for you. Again, you should first use the audio file and then the picture files and try to build it bit by bit using the rule sheet and all that. That gets you inside the process of the proof. It's a little confusing, I'm sure, but then come to the as a second or maybe even third pass, come to the video to see it illustrated by hand, and it should start to gel a little bit after you've put in that good faith effort. If you just go straight to the video, it will not help you out. So here we go. Get out your rule sheet as always and have it on the side. And I'm going to go through this pretty quickly because it's assumed that you've already gone through the other resources doing this on the computer. So here it is by hand in preparation for the midterm. So the first thing you try as always is, can you use the first strategy, or elim? Again, or elim, you never look at the line you're at. So in this case, the conclusion, you cover it up. You only look above. What do you have access to? 1, 2, and 3. Do you have an or there as the main connective? Yes, you have an or in 1. So you can use or elim. So I etch it down at the bottom there, or elim. And then anytime you have a rule, you then look it up in the rule sheet and you write down its format. And if you look at it, it says it requires 2 subproofs. So you put 2 subproofs like that, filling in all the spaces. Make sure you have the 2 subproofs like that. Not when you do it on the midterm, I want to make sure you show me subproofs if there are any. Don't just create a little triangle or anything like that. It has to see the subproofs. They're very important. So the next thing you do is, if you look at or elim, flip to the rule again in the rule sheet. After the first thing you need, which is the 2 subproofs, the second thing you need is each of the sides of the or up at the top. So this is the or, this is where it's coming from. You got options, A or B. First option is A, so that goes at the top of the first subproof. Because the first subproof is saying, consider that first case, that first option. The second subproof corresponds with the other option up top, which is B. Yeah? And then the third thing you need to set this up, to complete the format for or elim, is the S that goes at the bottom of each of the subproofs. How do you know what S is? Well, again, it's always identified by wherever your or elim is at. Here's your or elim at the very bottom. So that right there is your S. It's the C or D. Remember, S stands for just sentence, abstractly, whatever that sentence is. In this case, there's your concrete S, C or D. Okay, now that you got that, you have to move up and you have to solve each of these subproofs. It doesn't matter if you move up here and you do that first, or you move down here and you do that first. You got to do both of them anyway. Let's move up here, because if you remember from a previous proof file, I said move up here, doesn't matter. So since it doesn't matter either way, let's try moving up here. So I move up there. Anytime you move up, you move the pointer, you reset, and you go back to the first page, and you scroll, you go through that whole strategy, those strategies once again. So you first try or elim. Can you use or elim? Well, again, never look at the line that you're at, so you cover that up. Look only above. What do you have access to? A, fall to the left, 3, 2, 1. You can number that, by the way, 4 right there. You can only number that so far. The rest you don't know. There is an or right there, but you've got to remember where you've been. This or is already in play, generating this whole or elim with the 2 subproofs. So or elim is out because you cannot use it again. It's already being used once. So now you're onto the backwards method. Backwards method says now you look at the line you're at. So you look at the C or D. This is the line that you're at. And then you say, what's the main connective? Well, the main connective is or, so you put that down. And then it says to guess intro, so you do that. And then anytime you have a rule, you look it up. So when you look it up in the rule sheet, or intro says you need one of the sides of the or above. So here are your sides of the or, the C, the D. You have to guess carefully. If you choose just C or D, right up here, say I put C there. This will give you the check, but it may not work out overall, so you have to be careful which one you choose. Well, what are you given in this first subproof? You're given A. Now you look above there in your vicinity of premises and stuff given. What connects with what? Well, if you look at number 2, 2 connects A with C. So probably, and since you're given A here, probably C is the one you want. So you should guess that. If you'd guessed D, you'd find that that would be a dead end, and then it turns out that it's because you guessed the wrong side over here. Okay, so now you move up here to C. Anytime you move up, again, you go back to the first page, you reset, and you start all over, and you go, can I try the first most powerful strategy? So can I use or elim? Again, you look above. The only or is that's already in place, so there's no new or, so or elim is out. So then you're on to the backwards method, Step 1 says look at where you're at, in this case C, identify the main connective. There isn't one. Remember, when there's no main connective, now you're working top down. That means top down means look at the meanings of the things you're given above and find a way to work to here, however many steps it takes in between. It may be immediate, it may be that there's more steps involved, but you're working top down to get here, and usually along the way you're using elim rules you don't know what sort. Top down is use elim rules you don't know what sort to find a way to connect up whatever you're given above to what you're aiming for, in this case C. So I'm given A here, and if I look for C, I'm after C. C, the only place I see C is in number 2. And remember, top down is meaning. Meaning is all important. So what does 2 say? It says if A is true, then C follows. Well, 4 says you're given A. So what has to follow? C. And that means you're done with that proof, actually. The rule for that, the only connective you use there in 2 and 4 is conditional elim, and if you look up that rule, and you always have to verify this, look up the rule in your rule sheet, you'll find that this fits the pattern. This is your one-way ticket. This is the starting point. It points to where you get to the destination, that's C. Okay? You can number now this first subproof, so that's 5 and 6, and if you fill it in, conditional elim highlights 2 things, the conditional 2 and the starting point 4, so 2 comma 4. Or intro highlights one of the sides of the or above, which is 5. So that first subproof is done. Now you got to go back and do the other subproof. So again, you start at the bottom and you repeat the process. You try first or elim. Is that an option? Well, what do you have access to? B, fall to the left, 3, 2, 1. Is there an or? Yeah, and 1, but again, that's already in play, so or elim is out. So then you're on to the backwards method. Look at the line that you're at here. What's the main connective? Or. What do you guess? Intro. What does or intro require? One of the sides of the or. Again, when you look this up in the rule sheet, I'm going pretty quickly. You can always pause and look it up yourselves just to solidify your understanding. But or intro requires one of the sides of the or. Okay, I could guess C or D up here. Which one do you think checks out? Well, in this case, if you remember from up here, A connected with C. In this case, I got B. If I look above, I got 1, 2, and 3. B connects with D, so D is the one I'm going to guess here. And now I move up, and you repeat the process. Can I try or elim? No. Again, for the same reason. All I have access is to B, fall to the left, 3, 2, 1. There's your or, but it's already in play. So then you're on to backwards method. Step 1 says look at the line you're at, identify the main connective. It's just D. There is no main connective. So when there's no main connective, you're working top down. And that means you're guessing some kind of elim rule. Where do you see D? Remember, top down is meaning. Well, think of meaning. 3 says, this is what I mean by meaning. What does it say? 3 says, if B is true, then D follows. Do I have B? Yes, I do. In which case, D will have to follow, and there it is. And the rule for that is conditional elim from, and now you can number it. This is done. 7, 8, 9, 10. Conditional elim from 3, comma 7, or intro from 8, and then or elim, you have to look this up in the rule sheet. Or elim says you have to highlight the or, where it all comes from, number 1, comma, each of the options that 1 indicates. So that's 4 through 6, 4-6, comma, the other option, 7 through 9. And there it is, the proof written out for what's called constructive dilemma. All right, folks, keep at it. Midterm's just around the corner, so keep practicing.